All right, so the Packers take on the Vikings next week. Another team for Skip Bayless to completely discredit when the Packers eventually win and Aaron Rodgers has a great performance. So looking forward to that same old routine happening again. I'm that Mamba. I don't know how to close videos. All right, that's the intro. Skip Bayless put in the minimum effort to talk about the Packers and Vikings game, so that's my friggin' intro. I'm putting in the same amount of effort that Skip Bayless is putting in today. So following the Packers' loss to the Vikings, this is what Skip Bayless tweeted. What? MVP Aaron Rodgers loses to the 1-5 Vikings at Lambeau? How could this happen to the greatest thrower of the football ever? So if that's what he saw when watching the Packers game against the Vikings, and he's going to try to frame this to be Aaron Rodgers' fault for the loss, I tweeted this. I said, just tattoo, I didn't watch the game, and I plan to only read stats off of the box score when talking about the Packers tomorrow when Undisputed on your forehead. Because it's so clear and obvious he either only watched highlights or didn't watch any of the game. And let me just say, I hit the nail on the head with that tweet. He clearly didn't watch any of this game. So he'll go into extreme detail when talking about his Cowboys or Tom Brady. Break down a certain play that makes a player like Tom Brady or any Cowboy he's rooting for look really good. Or he'll say, oh, here's a missed call right here by the refs. Or, ooh, that penalty should have never been called. And he's going to try and persuade that, like, his team got robbed or his player played really well. And he's going to go into extreme detail saying why he's right. But when it comes to everyone else in the league, especially Aaron Rodgers, if it's not a primetime game, he's not going to watch the game. He's going to look at the box score, look at the final score, look at the quarterback's QBR, and come to his final conclusion. And that's all he'll do. There isn't really much to show of Skip here, but with the few minutes we have of Skip talking about the game, I guess we'll just show it now, and then that'll be the video.
So help me out here. This is the greatest thrower of the football in the history of the game, says the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. And he's up against a 1-5 Vikings team with the 30th ranked defense in points allowed coming into the game. 30th ranked, that's 32 points a game.
Right.
Well, how did he put up only 22 points on a defense allowing 32?
Well, you have to have the ball. You see what Dalvin Cook was doing? When the guy goes 30 for 163.
Okay, well, timeout. Time of possession, home team Packers had the ball 32 minutes to 28 minutes for Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook.
Skip, you watched that game.
32 to 28.
Skip, you saw what was happening in that game. You saw.
No, Shannon, I'm afraid he didn't see the game. At least it doesn't sound like he saw the game. So Skip said, how did Aaron Rodgers, the greatest thrower of the football ever, only score 22 points against the 30th ranked Vikings defense when it comes to points allowed? Well, how's about we look at each Packers drive and actually dive into what happened in the game instead of just talking in general? All right, here we go. Each Packers drive. 13 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. 15 plays, 72 yards, touchdown. 1 play, 8 yards, but they got the ball with 31 seconds left in the half with no timeouts. So that I don't count that as really a legit drive. 6 plays, 38 yards, turnover on downs. But I will say Rodgers threw an absolute dime on 4th down to Equanimeous St. Brown, and he just dropped it. I mean, I hope I put a clip up here just for you guys to see. Like, that ball was perfectly placed, and Equanimeous St. Brown just couldn't come down with it. So, I mean, it's not an Aaron Rodgers, but still a turnover on downs, okay? So, and the next drive is 10 plays, 31 yards, punt. But again, context helps here. They got to the Minnesota 32-yard line, but then back-to-back holding penalties on the Packers resulted in them going all the way back to the Green Bay 48-yard line on a 1st down and 30. So that's the mountain Aaron Rodgers had to climb just to get a freaking 1st down. So, again, they didn't get the 1st down, so if you want to criticize Aaron Rodgers for not converting on a 1st down and 30, whatever, dude. Next drive, 7 plays, 32 yards, turnover on downs again, but this one was stopped by a bad picked-up flag on pass interference that we're going to get into later, but let's just say the ball should have been a 1st down on the Minnesota 15, probably would have resulted in at least a touchdown, or at least a field goal. But anyways, we'll get into that later. Next drive, 9 plays, 74 yards, touchdown, 5 plays, 31 yards, and the fumble on the final Hail Mary attempt. So, some bad drives, but if you look more into the context of it, is it really Aaron Rodgers' fault? Because that's what you seem to be telling your audience, that it is his fault. So Skip does this annoying and very lazy argument to try and win the debates where he's like, but I thought Aaron Rodgers was the greatest thrower of the football ever. So he tries to put Aaron Rodgers on this incredibly high pedestal that he doesn't even put him on. And so it completely makes Aaron Rodgers look bad unless he goes for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns every week. So even when he goes 27 of 41 for 291 yards and 3 touchdowns, a 65% completion percentage in extremely windy conditions, it makes Rodgers look bad because he's apparently the greatest thrower of the football ever. Like, what? This is such a lazy argument. So clearly, since Skip Bayless didn't actually watch the Packers and Vikings game, and he just wants to dump all the blame on Aaron Rodgers as to he dropped the ball on losing to a 1-5 Vikings team, I guess I'll have to tell you guys why the Packers lost this game. So I wrote down all the reasons why I think the Packers lost the game, because, you know, I actually freaking watched the game. And here we go. The number one reason is Dalvin freaking Cook, all right? He barely even brought up Dalvin Cook. The man rushed for 163 yards on 30 carries and 3 touchdowns, along with a 50-yard screen pass that resulted in a touchdown by Dalvin Cook, and also accounted for 50 of Kirk Cousins' 160 passing yards. So that's a big reason why I think the Packers lost the game. Number 2, the Packers defense cannot make open field tackles. I don't know how many missed tackles or people just putting their head down and throwing their bodies at the ball carrier I've seen in that game, but it was ridiculous. I would also talk about how they cannot give any pressure to the quarterback, but that wasn't even a factor. Kirk Cousins threw 14 passes all freaking game. Number 3, dropped passes and missed throws. There were some huge drops by Equanimeous St. Brown in this game. I saw 2 big ones by him. I also saw some missed throws by Rodgers. Now, you could blame some on the wind conditions, but there were some that I'm like, no, the wind didn't cause that. That was just an off-target throw by Aaron Rodgers. There was a huge one to Jay Sternberger. Sternberger was wide open. No one was around him, and Rodgers just missed him, and that would have resulted in like a 30-yard gain. Number 4 reason is penalties, all right? And now I'm not going to blame the refs, but let me say, 9 penalties for 85 yards as a team, that's ridiculous for the Packers, all right? The Packers cannot put up 9 freaking penalties in a game. That's not on the refs. That's on the Packers for freaking committing the penalties. There's too many holding penalties on the O-line. There were a couple that were suspect, but that's not really that out of the ordinary. You're always going to get a couple soft penalties in a football game. So that's nothing to be like, oh, that's the reason why the Packers lost. No, that's just every normal week in football. Now, there was one really big penalty that really freaking hurt this game, and this is the missed pass interference call that I mentioned earlier. It was 4th and 9. With 8 minutes and 16 seconds left in the fourth quarter. They at first throw the flag for pass interference on Anthony Harris of the Vikings on Robert Tonyan. This would have put the Packers on the Vikings' 15-yard line. Instead, it's a turnover on downs. He restricted Robert Tonyan's arms before the ball even got to him, which prohibited him from making the catch. How is that not a pass interference call? How can you throw the flag on that, clearly see that it happened, and then talk it over with the other refs and then come to the conclusion of, never mind, that's not pass interference. Clearly, I'm just seeing things. So am I going to blame this loss on the refs? No, I gave you how many other reasons why the Packers lost. You know, good teams overcome bad refs. So I hate when so many fans just blame the refs for their failures in life. It's like, clearly if you were a good team, you wouldn't be bogged down by the refs every freaking play. Or every freaking week, you know? So, I mean, I'm not going to blame the refs. I'm just going to say the refs made it a little harder for the Packers to make the comeback, but the Packers shouldn't have been down in the first place. So, is it the refs' fault? No. Did the refs make a big mistake? Yes. It can be both. But Skip Bayless coming to the conclusion and only talking about Aaron Rodgers coming up short. If you're going to blame Packers' losses this year on the offense, you're clearly not paying attention. This Packers defense is going to be the demise of this team yet again. They can't stop the run still. They can't pressure the quarterback this year. They can't make open field tackles, which makes 5-yard gains turn into 25-yard gains. They can't get any turnovers. Let me see. They had 1 turnover in their last 4 games, and that turnover came in garbage time against Houston. Mike Pettin, our defensive coordinator, he should be on super thin ice right now with his job. And if he gets run over by this depleted 49ers team, he needs to be fired because this defense is clearly being held back by him if he can't even stop a 49ers team that I don't even think has anyone healthy from the NFC Championship game of last year. In the Packers' 2 losses this year, they gave up 331 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns in 2 games. So that's 69 rushing attempts for the opposing team and only 42 passing attempts. What year is it that the Packers are only giving up 42 passing attempts in the year 2020, where this is an incredibly pass-happy league? We cannot stop the run where a quarterback is a non-issue.
And then the miracle maker that is Aaron Rodgers, end of game, he throws Hail Mary miracles, and you got to know, you got to have that clock in your head. You got to know who's coming from behind you.
Come on, stop it.
Is he starting to get a little old? Is he starting to get up there in that LeBron range?
I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You're supposed to have a clock in your head to know somebody's coming, but not a clock in your head to know it's down. Oh, so what about the clock?
Sure, Skip. Blame Aaron Rodgers for not sensing the pass rusher that was coming from behind him. If that's the only highlight you can show that's negative towards Aaron Rodgers in this entire game, then sure, have it.
Well, he put foots in his management's face after the game because what did he do? He's asked about receivers. The last guy I wanted, they let go to Buffalo, right? Kumaro.
Yeah.
Oh, way to go, Aaron.
Okay, so during the post-game press conference with Aaron Rodgers, someone asked Aaron if the Packers need a wide receiver before the trade deadline, which they didn't get, just saying. And Rodgers says that's not a question he can answer, but the last time he lobbied for a player, the Packers cut him and he ended up in Buffalo. And he's obviously talking about one of his favorite receivers from last year, Jake Kumaro. So yeah, Skip's making the argument that Aaron sounds pretty salty at the management. But wouldn't you be? I mean, you were just a game away from the Super Bowl last year, and the front office is giving you little to no help to make you a better team right now and push you over the edge to become a Super Bowl winner. I mean, let's just look. No new receivers over the offseason. They'd signed Devin Funchess, which is a questionable signing to begin with, but then he opted out at the beginning of the year because of COVID. I'm not going to blame that on Devin Funchess. That's his decision. But still, even if Devin Funchess was there, is he that much of a freaking help that Aaron Rodgers is like, whew, all right, now we're elite. You know? All right, and then look at the draft. Zero help to help the team now. First round, we got a quarterback. Sweet, I got my replacement. Second round, we got a running back when we already have Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. Not saying A.J. Dillon's going to be a bust. I'm just saying, doesn't really help us right now. Third round, what do we get? We get a tight end who's out with the year with a torn ACL. Also, coming into the year, we had Robert Tonyan and Jay Sternberger and Mercedes Lewis. So, really, we need another freaking tight end? What are we, the Chicago Bears? And what do we get in the fourth round? Nothing, because we traded it away to get Aaron Rodgers' replacement. I'm not saying these draft picks won't work out in the future or be good picks later. It's way too early to say the Packers had a bad draft or these people are busts. I'm just saying, you're a contender right now. You have the rare opportunity of having a super elite quarterback with enough weapons to get to the Super Bowl, and you just have to plug in a few pieces to get you over the top, and you don't do anything. I don't understand this. And you're upset with Aaron for being a little upset about it? The dude wants to win. Are you upset about that? The only pick from our 2020 draft that I can think of that helps us right now is our 5th round pick, which is linebacker Kamal Martin, who has been one of the only few highlights in this terrible Packers defense in 2020. But guess what? He's missing the Thursday night football game because he was in close contact with our 2nd round pick who got COVID. So the two freaking players in our draft this year that have been helping the most, they're out because of COVID now. So that's it. That's all I got. Thank you so much, Skip Bayless, for bashing Aaron Rodgers, even though you didn't watch the game. Or worse, you did watch the game and you're completely misrepresenting what happened in the game. Either way, you're a piece of trash, Skip. Vikings fans, congratulations on the win. I'm not going to be a salty Packers fan. You earned the win. You outplayed us. Dalvin Cook's a freaking beast. Enjoy the victory. Packers are moving on to the 49ers Thursday Night Football, which is happening the night I'm hopefully going to be uploading this video. It's a depleted 49ers team. I think I saw a tweet that 0 offensive players that had a catch or a rushing attempt in the NFC Championship game against the Packers are going to be playing in this game. So that's pretty interesting. But then again, the Packers also have some injuries. They also have a few players out with COVID. I don't know why this game's happening on Thursday. I figured they could at least shove it over to Monday Night Football. But I guess we're playing it, so we'll see. We'll see what Skip Bayless has to say. He's probably going to say something like, oh, isn't Aaron Rodgers so lucky to be playing against this freaking 49ers team that's a shell of its former self? I guess that's where we're going to go. But anyways, I'm Matt Mamba. I don't know how to close videos. You know those YouTubers that have, like, really poorly timed animations of, like, smashing that like button, turning on the bell, hit that subscribe button? Let's try that out. Oh, look, I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Oh, hi, the hospital. How can I help you? Yes, I am the son of my mom. What? She's been in a terrible accident? What? You need to amputate her leg? What? You don't know if she's gonna make it? All right, guys. I just got off the phone with the hospital. My mom's in a lot of danger. Don't know if she's gonna make it. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2, which is gonna be exclusively available to my Patreon. So be sure to head over to my Patreon if you want to give updates about my mom. And if you're not on my Patreon, then for you, it doesn't even matter. Just assume she's dead because you're never gonna know if she's okay. All right? I'm at Mamba. This is my belly. Bow!
And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? After I slept on it, I must admit, I woke up this morning feeling dangerous. I'm talking about dangerously delusional.